This is the 2-9 Report.
Thank you guys for joining for another show. Welcome to the 2-9 Report. I'm your boy Sam Madison, holding it down as your host, but you know I got my man over next to me sitting tight. Who I got on the line with me today?
He's actually scratching his head. Just got a lot to talk about today. So you got your old teammate Arturo Freeman, um, live and present with you, my guy.
Hey man,
Let's
listen.
have some
Hey,
fun with this.
man, have fun, man. Unbelievable. Hey man, I just want to catch up. Dolphins had a bye week last week, but Hurricane Milton came through, man. Prayers to the West Coast, the Gulf Coast of Florida, Sarasota, Siesta Key, Anna Maria Island. Man, took a pounding, man. This is the second hurricane Turo that came up through the Gulf, man, and really, devastated and the area. But man, prayers out to everybody. I know Venice over there who has a really good football team, and just trying to get prepared. A team that's ranked in the nation, but even one of our former Dolphin players, Larry Shannon, I think he came in with Pat Surtain in 1998, coaches over there at Venice, and just looking at the devastation in the water, man, prayers to go out to everybody over there, Turo.
Yes, man, it's definitely prayers and our efforts. There's a
Yeah.
lot of outreach programs that are in place. If you don't know any, just easily Google outreach programs for the hurricane, especially with Helena and
hmm
Milton.
hmm
Western Carolina is still being affected. I had the
Yeah.
privilege of
Oh, yeah. That's
speaking
your stomping
today.
ground. That's where you're from. So, yeah,
Yeah,
I know you just been up
yeah,
there. So, yeah.
yep. So prayers definitely go out to everybody, and however you can get involved, whether it's monetary, whether it's your time, or just your prayers, I think is all needed, man, for sure.
Yeah, man. 75 have been jam packed over the last few days. Just watching, I know people watching the news and everything. People going back home. So the state lifted all of the tolls and turnpike and all of those different things and Alligator Alley. But yeah, man, just some real tough times. But man, we're almost out of it, Turo. Almost out of hurricane
Yes.
season. November 1st, I think that's the end of it. But just always be prepared. People call in from other states, wishing well wishes and all of those things. But yeah, we've fared pretty well down here in South Florida, but the rest of the state didn't. But just wanted to say that, hit that. Turo over the last couple of weeks. Well, really last week we started it. HOA. When you talk about the trust, you talk about the NFLPA giving back to former players and really trying to help them and continue to be in the best shape and health as possible. Really doing a good job of bringing guys together and creating that locker room space. And it's been fun, man. I haven't had opportunity. Last year they started it, didn't have an opportunity to do it, but getting back in that gym to roll, tighten this thing up, man. What you say?
Awesome. Yeah, man, for real. I mean, I had the privilege to do the first one when it came to South Florida,
hmm
the program at HOA, House of Athletes, if our listeners don't understand that abbreviation. The program is the Breakfast Club, is a 6-week program for former NFL players to basically, jumpstart their health.
hmm hmm
Having that opportunity is priceless, Sam. First, it's priceless because it don't cost anything to us
Yeah.
to just get out there, get moving again, and get back in shape. Fortunately, I had the opportunity to get back this year, and I started, really focusing on my health, really focusing on my not only my inner but my physical health,
hmm
and moving these joints, moving this body, and understanding that my body is not the same. Uh, Not the same, doesn't feel the same. You have some outside injuries and outside situations that you're trying to counter, with training and moving and working out. But the Breakfast Club has been clutch. 2 weeks of this has been immensely helpful to my
Yeah.
own personal walk.
hmm and you get to see faces that you haven't seen for a while. But for us down here, Miami Dolphins, we get to see each other a little bit more because we always doing stuff in the community, always have
Yes.
something going on, guys having tournaments, something. So you always run into your former players, but the guys that's not with the Dolphins, but that are from different football teams and they made their home down here in South Florida, it gives us the opportunity to be able to have that camaraderie in the locker room like we had in the past, being able to, work out. But Turo, one of the things that I had a problem with was after being in that locker room and really, having that intimate part of it, where it's just us doing stuff. But when you go to a gym, you have other people watching you. Oh, that's Sam Madison, that's Arturo Freeman, man. Let's see how much weight he's lifting or this or that. Like, bro,
Right.
that's what I did
Or they
all
want to
my
talk
life.
about football. Or
Yeah.
they want to ask you a million questions about who's playing and who you guided so they can make their fantasy picks. Man, that's
and,
it,
and
it
I'm
can
on
be
a
annoying.
time schedule. And I'm on a time schedule.
Absolutely.
I'm a 45-minute, 50-minute guy. That means warm up, stretch, exercise, done everything, and I'm ready to go out of the gym. Like my buddy, I have guys, man, they go in there for like 1 hour, 2 hours. Like, man, what are y'all doing? Like, I'm not a people watcher type person when you go into the gym. I just want to get it done. John Gamble, hey, come on, little guy. Hey, listen, don't worry about it. I'm gonna get mine in. It might take 30 minutes, but I'm
Right.
gonna be in and I'm gonna be out.
Right. Right, right. So the Breakfast Club kind of addresses that because it,
Hmm.
like you said earlier, it gives us that locker room feel where we communicate. You get to talk to some guys that are not from your local club that you may have played against. You get to reminisce. Not only you're reminiscing, you get a good workout in.
Yeah,
You
that's
get
that's the
a
great
body
part.
assessment. Yeah, you
Yeah.
get a body assessment. You get to talk with a specialist, talk to a doctor, set up visits, kind of address some things that you were kind of private. Most guys are private about their
Hmm.
health. Most guys are
Hmm.
private about, their transition. So that little bit of space, that timing gets guys moving, gets guys kind of speaking, to each other and
Hmm.
about different things, walks of life. And I think it's a great program, Sam.
Yeah.
I wish it was in every gym or every state or however,
Right.
wherever the guys are,
Correct.
not just acclimated to one place, all over.
Yeah, and Turo, it brings back memories, right? Because I always know you was a guy that took care of your body. Now I sit there and watch you walk in. I was like, okay, I know it's gonna take him about 30 minutes to go over there and get stretched, get loose. He got to
Oh
do all of
man.
this, and then just watching other former players doing the same exact things. Like, hey man, guys have their routine, and we looking at our teams that's across the state and everything right now. What really happens is guys are in routines and they get
Hmm.
into that routine, the stretching, having the chiropractors and the masseuse, all of those different things, and just guys are still doing it, but now we have one another to sit there and watch, hold each other accountable for 6 weeks to make sure that we
Hmm.
come in every day, calling and checking up. Hey, are you good? Yeah, I know we did some pretty funky movements the other day. I know you saw, but come on, man, let's continue just to work this body and get it back into shape. So that's been the fun part, and just being around the guys. So that's been really, really awesome. Turo, man, you know, down here in South Florida, you it's something in football going on all the time, all the times of day, all times of week. We had some games that were rained out, so a lot of games that been played over the last couple of days on Monday, Tuesday, knocking those things out. But last week I had an opportunity to go down to the Dream Fall Football Classic at Pitbull Stadium down at FIU, St. Thomas versus Chaminade Madonna, man. Hey, man, that was it was energetic from the beginning to the end, Turo, man. Unbelievable football game.
I can only imagine. Those when you talked, you never really get those two teams in the same sentence.
Yes.
Only if you explaining or you expressing the 5 stars that they have
Right.
or the wins that they have or
Yeah.
the 4 stars that they have. You never have those teams mentioned in the same sentence and splitting them with a two-letter word, versus or VS, a hyphen. You don't have that. You don't have that. So St. Thomas,
Yeah,
a lot of those teams don't play each other because they are all scared of not being in the top 10, not playing for a national championship
correct.
at the end of the year.
Rankings, right? Rankings, and all of a
Hmm.
sudden, you go and you look at Florida High School Association, and look at their rankings of the toughest teams. Like this year, you look at American Heritage, you're looking at Chaminade, you're looking at St. Thomas. They were like, man, you know what? Man, we might as well just play each other because it doesn't really hurt. It only helps you at the end of the year, especially in Florida high school, because it gives you an opportunity to say, okay, yeah, we played this team. This plays strength of schedule, one of the toughest in high school. So you're going to put those guys on the schedule, and it gives you a great opportunity to go up against some great talent, some things that you're going to see later on down the road. But yet and still, it gets your guys ready and prepared because all of these teams are in different divisions, but
Hmm.
they're stacked with, like you talked about, Tori, these 4 or 5 star players, and it gives them opportunities, to get ready and prepared for that playoff run.
A lot of these kids have played together in Little League. They
Mm-hmm.
are friends. You're talking about three major private schools
Mm-hmm.
that are in 3 to 4 mile radius of each other.
Right.
And it's wonderful because this is what 5 to 6 to 7 years ago, where this would be the talk.
Mm-hmm.
St. Thomas would pat their chest and say, hey, man, we're undefeated. We're the national
Right.
champs. Chaminade would say, well, we went undefeated. So, and Heritage would say, well, we won the 5A.
Mm-hmm.
Now it's not about the winning the state championship. Each one of those teams have 3, 4, 5 high school championships.
Correct. Yeah.
What they're talking about is more about bragging rights and national championships.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So it's super exciting to see that this bridge has finally collapsed. And I think it started maybe 2, 3 years ago with the changing of the conferences and allowing North Florida to get a little bit more exposure, a little more championships. But it started making these private schools play against each other to get out of the South Florida area.
Well, the
So
other
for them,
thing,
I think
Toro, go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
no, go. I think it's been immensely a great situation for the younger players and the organizations alike, because this is what the handwriting was on the wall for this to happen this type of way.
And then the other part is what has really helped also is guys being able to guys being able to transfer how they want to, and not
Hmm.
having any ramifications for them. Turo, before, you transfer from one school, whether it was in the same division or if it was moving up or moving down, you had to sit out. Now it's like,
Right.
hey, I could play 2, 3 games and at one football team, like, I don't like it. I'm going to another team. And I think it just happened. Chaminade got a brand new quarterback and ended up playing versus St. Thomas for the first game. And guess what? They came out victorious. It was 15-15 at the half, but you know, running games in the second half. St. Thomas came out with some really good momentum, but momentum don't mean nothing down here in South Florida because everybody have good players and ended up, just running away with it at the end. But a really good football game. These teams. When you look at Chaminade and St. Thomas been very dominant over Chaminade, but not this time, man. Chaminade was able to come out and knock that thing down, man. Very uh, good group of coaches, the atmosphere, the like I said, Pitbull Stadium down there, FIU, it was jam packed to it. And I got my money's worth out of that one.
I know you had a good time.
I definitely did, my brother. Hey, and looking for many more getting ready to start up. When you look at and you talk about all the things that's getting ready to come up, man, we just want to mention it and keep it on everybody's radar because uh, Tim Boyne will be going into the Ring of Honor here with the Miami Dolphins. Both of us had an opportunity to play with him, Turo. And man, one of the best teammates that we've ever had, but he helped everybody, So, October 27th, when the
Yes.
Dolphins playing, Arizona Cardinals, Tim Bowens will be going up in those Raptors, man, in the Ring of Honor, man. So I'm excited about that.
I'm excited as well because my first experience with Tim Bowens is coming in my rookie year and Zach Thomas presenting him with a present, and I was like, this how the league is. Like, somebody's getting a Rolex. Like, man, this is what it is about, man. But then going through my rookie year and seeing what Tim Bowens means. I always knew who he was from JUCO, Ole Miss, playing in the SEC,
Right.
but seeing him up live in person, he was one of the guys that contributed to that position in such a high way. When I
Yeah.
say that, not the flashy one, not the one that's getting upfield trying to make the sack, doing what he want to do. I'm talking about an ultimate team guy, ultimate team player. Put everybody before himself, not selfish at all, quiet in the locker room, leader by example. He deserves it. He
Yeah.
definitely deserves it. Taking on 2, 3 blocks at the same time. One of the strongest men I've ever been around in my life. Uh, Hell of a guy, man.
Yeah.
I'm
Absolutely.
excited just to see his emotions, man. Just well content to himself. Does a man of few words, but when he play and when he say he gonna do what he gonna do, he's gonna do it. He's
Yeah,
gonna
he's definitely
absolutely
going to
do it.
do it, man. So, Terry,
So
like
he
you
was
said,
worth them
man,
watches.
absolutely, 100%, man. And you look at Zach, Hall of Famer. You look at Jason Taylor, first ballot Hall of Famer. Junior Seau, who played with us as well, who was Hall of Famer. Man, like these guys, man. When any and everybody came in here to play, man. I understand we had names, all of that, but everybody always remember Timbo because of the thing he did, the dirty work, like you talked about, Turo,
Hmm.
double teams, taking on double teams and allowing Zach to be able to flow over the top and run, being able to read, giving them opportunities to, run those jet sweeps and all of those top sweeps down. I've talked about this, often about, Zach Thomas, being able to run from the middle of the field. They're throwing a hitch right on the outside and Zach is able to hit, but, you know, giving him the freedom to roam and flow, that all came down. It contribute from the middle of our defense, and it started with Tim Bowens. So, hats off to him. Definitely looking forward to spending time with him. Had opportunity to talk to him, Turo, a couple of days ago, and he is definitely excited about it, trying to get everything in place and have all his teammates and everybody come in and definitely, have the well wishes and present him with this great opportunity. But, you know, it's going to be fun. But hey, he deserved it, every bit of it, every ounce of it,
Yes.
because he
Yes.
definitely, later on the line for the number of years, that he played. But a lot of other stuff that's going on, man. You got our Dolphins, you got our Canes. We got to talk about your South Carolinas, man. Man, they've been playing close, man. What? Tell me what happened this past weekend with your South Carolina Gamecock.
Listen, I've been on this rampant about the SEC and truly
Here we go.
understanding the dynamic of the SEC, guys.
Here we go.
I am convinced, Sam, that
What?
that the NIL is not affecting the SEC. It's becoming almost evenly matched
Yes.
because
Yeah.
if you really detail it out and understand, the agenda. You got guys, kids are still going to the schools that they dreamt of when they saw
Hmm.
the Alabamas win and the Georgias win. They're still going to the schools and they may want some money, but they're still putting in the SEC. It seems like the mindset is still put the school, not so much over the money, but with the money.
Right.
So when you see a South Carolina team that's 50-50, older D lineman, young in the back end, put together, young quarterback, put together, scrappy, come back and play their butts off. and had an opportunity to win the game,
Mm-hmm.
man, I could have left that game saying, man, Alabama is not who they are. No, 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 no. Alabama is who they are.
They are who they
You
are.
saw the game in Georgia. Georgia is still
Yep,
who they are. But
absolutely.
let's not. South Carolina got some guys, and I think it's just the level of talent
Mm-hmm.
that the SEC brings to the table. And you see it right now. It's lopsided. You see Texas number one in the country, number one in the SEC. Texas
Mm-hmm.
A&M after last year. You have these squads that are putting together 5-1 overall, 2-0 in the conference. LSU, Georgia, Alabama. I hate to be somebody in the playoffs that sitting there saying, okay, well, we're number 7 seed. We're coming from this conference, and I got to play Alabama, who's number 6 seed.
Yeah, man. But
That
hey,
ain't fair.
it's not fair. It's not fair.
And
But
they know it. The carpet, they know it, bro. They know it. They know when they build this up. They say, man, yeah, Texas, LSU, yeah, you guys gonna be up there, number one, number two, and guess what? Who you got to play in the first round? You got to play Georgia.
you got to play Georgia. You got to play Alabama. You might have to play
You got to play
LSU.
Georgia.
Yeah.
They number 12. They only lost one game. They number 12. What?
Hey, even with that loss, we all
They
would,
don't care. Georgia,
yeah,
those teams don't care where they're gonna be seated at. They don't
yeah.
care.
They don't care. They don't care. And when you look at the power struggle in the SEC, man, it's a fight for you guys every single week, Turo. I mean,
Every single
hands
week.
down, you guys, I would say is the best conference, out there from top to bottom. You can go to some other conferences, you have some one offs, some two offs, but you know, throughout the course of every single one of those games, man, those teams, you're gonna have to really fight week in and week out, man, and that is
Mm-hmm.
really
Mm-hmm.
really fun football, and that's why people really look forward to this time of the year because now you have teams that's from the West Coast that join in the SEC, all of these other different man. It's just been really fun so far this year, and looking for some really more explosive games coming up.
Yeah, so we look forward to this week competitions. Oklahoma, they're coming off a tough loss uh, with Texas, but like you said earlier, this is the SEC. I'm really optimistic, Sam. We can go down there and beat Oklahoma. Why you pausing?
Hey,
Why you pausing?
hey, Drew,
Why you
listen,
pausing?
I
You got all this air between you talking about
I'm with you,
silence.
dog, man. Listen, I'm pulling for you, man. 1,000%. I promise. I promise, I'm pulling
Boy,
for
I
you,
tell you,
man.
boy. Tell you, boy.
Well,
Tell you.
Louisville, man. Listen, man, we're 4-2 right now. We dropped a couple. We dropped one to, of course, Notre Dame. I was up at that game. Beautiful stadium, man. Really, really enjoyed my time up there. The fans were amazing, being in the stands, but you know. Came back again and then lost to SMU, and Darnell Bennett, we talked about him, his son Rice his son plays at Rice. They played SMU. He was like, Sam, man, we got beat by SM. Like, man, do y'all know that's one of the richest schools in the state of Texas? Man, man,
In
and,
America, how about that?
and then you look at the quarterback that they just got. He was a freshman out of Texas. He had offers to almost every university across the United States, but he decided, no, I am going and I'm staying home at SMU and help this team uh become a powerhouse. And man, they've been playing some really good football. So, leading right into that, man, I'm from North Florida, Turo. So, I bleed all Florida teams, and I have a
Hmm.
ranking. First my first team, I bleed orange and green. So, coming down here in Miami and going to University of Louisville, Howard Snellenberger came from the University of Miami, but I rank FAMU first. See, you
Okay.
see orange and green. I bleed orange and green. And then I'm a University of Miami Hurricane. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Even though I'm from
Okay.
North Florida. But here's the thing. When it comes to Louisville, playing University of Miami. And I was sad when we came to the ACC because now I knew we had to play each other on a consistent basis, right? Having to play Florida State, all of these different teams. Hey, I'm going with Louisville this weekend. Turo, we have UM on the road. I understand they
Okay.
number 6,
Okay.
and I'm going to be in the building too, and I'm gonna have my red and black on, and
Ooh.
because Turo, I still have bragging rights. Like
Yeah.
we
Yeah.
won last
Yeah.
year. We came down here
Right.
and we won.
Right.
And Turo, I spoke to the team before that game,
Ooh. Better
and
speak again.
I need to go back into the locker room. Hey, I'll be
Yeah.
there. I'll be out there like Michael Irvin on the field. Hey, man, he gonna be
You
on one
better.
side. I'm gonna be on the other.
You supposed to.
All in, red and
Oh,
black.
man. Love it. I love it. I love
All
it.
in,
I
Turo.
love
Oh,
it. I love
man.
it. I think you only said FAMU because you still like to do them cookouts. I think that's what that is. That's where that comes from. I think that you got to say that because that's the only way you're gonna get invited to all them cookouts and all
Hey,
that
man,
food
listen, man.
and man, that's the only way they're gonna accept you. If you yeah, that's what
And
I loads to all your guys up. Yeah, your
hey, absolutely,
cookouts.
man.
I
Come
get it.
on, man. Hey,
I
man, but
get it.
listen, man, my cousin, he played baseball there. My brother played baseball at FAM. My mom, my dad, man, my whole family, cousins,
Oh yeah, that's
everybody
the
went there.
cookouts.
Yeah,
Tailgating.
that's the
That's what
cookout.
you know. That's why you said that. Yeah, you blend in.
Absolutely.
I feel you.
Yeah, man.
I feel you.
Unbelievable.
You ain't
But
wrong.
man, but also when we talk about the landscape of college, you look at the NCAA rankings right now. You got Texas number 1. You got Oregon, Penn State, Ohio State, Georgia, Alabama, LSU, Iowa State, and Clemson
Mm,
round out the top 10. Man, Iowa State
mm,
has and Iowa, have been sneaky over the last couple of years and putting some really good football
mm-hmm,
teams together. And they've
mm-hmm.
been playing very well, man. But that top 10, man, anything can happen, when we come down to this playoff run, Turo.
Top 10. You mentioned it. Good football teams, good football programs. Two or three of them been just
Mm-hmm.
nipping the last 2 3 years. Penn
Yeah.
State's been
Yeah.
nipping. Their nemesis has been Ohio State. Ohio State just lost to Oregon, just nipping. So they're sitting there thinking we're in position now.
Mm-hmm.
You
Mm-hmm.
know, only we don't play Michigan this year. All we have is Ohio State, and they can be beat.
They can
You
be
know,
beat.
Oregon is sitting there saying, we're the wild card. Nobody gave us a chance. They say we're going to have some good players, but we don't play a tougher conference. We can actually put ourselves in position, sit here at 2 quietly while everybody beat each other up and knock each other off.
Yeah.
It is this playoff thing is set up, man. It's set up to do some really, really different things. Georgia, Alabama, they're not too worried. They don't the fact that they can't just be outplaced. You can't be sitting there, be in the middle and the others at the end, and you got to play against each other. They don't mind being in the middle because they're gonna take a good number 1 or number 12 or number 11. They don't. Those teams don't care. Clemson is staying quiet. They're saying, hey, you know what? We can't catch one of these teams there. We can't sit up here and play Texas first time out. you know, we're not like that because they don't play teams week in and week out. That's
Mm-hmm.
why we don't. That's why I understand the ranking. I understand when they a team that may just lost one game, they're not playing consistent teams. That's why Georgia won't drop past 5, 6, 7 because week in and week out they're going to play somebody who can beat any of those top team 10 teams any given Saturday.
Any given Saturday.
So
And with
yes,
that,
yes.
you have to be on point as a coaching staff, as the players. And now to like a lot of these players, they focus on those things. Like when they're being recruited, they're talking about these things. Guys, we're bringing you here for a reason. We're trying to win a national. We're trying to get over the hump. We're trying to get, to a position to where you guys are the ones that's going to help us get over that hump. So, when you look at, all of these teams, when you're talking about, an opportunity where you had, Oregon knock off, Ohio State, it's been a couple of years where, it's been the opposite had occurred. And and it made those other teams, eventually lose a national championship. But the
Yes.
importance of having backups and being able, you look at Texas and you look at Manning being able to come in and he's not even a starter and be able to hold it down for the team, to just continue to be able to keep their foot on the pedal and not really have let
Hmm.
up, but still with the second string quarterback, you're able to put pressure on other teams because you depend on and you can rely on the guys to go out there and get the job done, man. It's been really, really impressive to watch how these teams, like you talked about, Turo, using the NIL and making sure that these teams are solidified. Some have been very successful at making very good picks at NIL, and some people have not. And we can see the ones that have not, and there's a few of them right in our state.
Yes, absolutely. Just being able to build it, team manager, understanding your players, understanding the goal, which is to win a national championship. How are you going to win it? And it depends on your conference because that's who you got to play week in and week out.
Mm-hmm.
Like you said with Texas, Texas is not only taking advantage of the NIL, they manage the team. They got
Mm-hmm.
most of their players back from last year. Got a quarterback that's a top five rated quarterback. Got a top five, top 10 backup quarterback. Come in, play 2 games, don't miss a beat. The guy in front of me doesn't stress, doesn't worry because of the confidence of his head coach in him. Tells him, hey, you get healthy. Don't worry about rushing. You get healthy.
Right.
We're going to be all right.
Yeah.
Because that trust is telling him, we need you to win the big game. And we
Yeah.
need Junior to get all of these plays when we up 40 points because guess what? He is the future and he's okay with it.
Correct.
I
He's
love
okay
it,
with
man.
it. Yeah.
I haven't seen football like that in a long time. I love it. I love
Yeah,
it.
man.
Steve has done a great job up there with Texas. He just got to win the big game, baby.
Yep, you just got to win the big one, man. And hey, man, they're putting everything in the right place. But you already talked about it, Turo. Any giving Saturday, bro, you have to be
Yes.
ready and you got to come play, man. One of these little small teams, man, they don't care that you're paying them 700-800 million, $5 to come down here. They're not going to lay down. They want to go out there and they
Trying
want
to
to
get that
win. They
money.
want they want
I'm,
to knock you
I'm
off. They
trying to
want
get
the
that
money
money. And
and they're
yes,
trying to knock your head
yes,
off. So, man, that's been really, really,
yes.
really, really good being able to watch this over the last couple of years and how they put this thing together and the competition, you know, of all of these different schools being able to compete, and like you said, being able to show that they supposed to be there, man. Switching gears, man, and you talk about all of this different stuff, man. Let's go and let's look at this AFC East. When you look at all of the divisions and you look at all the teams in this division, man, you have Buffalo, sitting up there on top right now. You have the Dolphins sitting right there at second, but a lot of different stuff that just have transpired over the last couple of days when you look at the Jets adding Devontae Adams and you look at you know uh, when you look at the Buffalo Bills adding Amari Cooper from right down here in South Florida, in itself, man, had opportunity to coach him, with once again South Florida Express and watching this kid, but he's still doing some amazing things. But just this division, man, it is heating up, man, that it's going to come down to the wire. But you got to be able to catch up with these Buffalo Bills, and they just added a really good, added a good player in themselves. But the New York Jets look like they're trying to make some moves and make some hay as well.
You said the key words. You gotta look at this AFC East, man. It's always been a pivotal point in the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
15
Mm-hmm.
years later, they're still doing the
It's still,
same thing,
yep,
making a point. Still doing the same thing. The culture is still there. The movements are still there. The ownerships of these teams are similar in place with the new owner in the Miami Dolphins, Steve
mm-hmm.
Ross. But he's been there for a few years now. The AFCs has been doing the same thing. And I
Yep,
like it because typically you don't see a lot of it because we do a good job of getting guys in early and you just uh, play with the guys that you have. But it's
right.
been utilized, the practice squad, the bringing in guys how New England used to do. Now this trade with Devontae Adams, with the wide receiver Amari Cooper with the Buffalo Bills. This is exciting.
Yeah.
This is exciting. This is exciting because now you look at the rumors with the Jets about this being Aaron Rodgers' team. It typically is when you pay big money for quarterback
Right.
team.
And a name. Yeah, absolutely.
It typically is. So,
Yeah.
and then yeah, you pay for that. That's what you wanted, and I get it. It's probably with some clashing between the head coach and Aaron Rodgers, seeing it his way, doing it his way. I get it. Now he's got what he wants. He has a couple receivers that's already there that played with him. Now he brings in his number one guy.
Yep.
Now those back shoulder throws will work. Now
Yep.
those balls down spiraling down to the ground will work. Now those sidearm passes will work. Now those Hail Marys or those haymakers, drop balls will work because you have the right receiver, which becomes the right fit for your QB. Now it's no excuse.
And they have played together, and they have made big
Hmm.
plays together. Aaron Rodgers
Right.
and Devontae Adams, man. So they already have chemistry. But now you
Right.
mix in, all of their other wide receivers, and you have an opportunity to really, really put put yourself in a situation where you can win a lot of games, right? So you have a really, really good defense already. You Sauce Gardner and all of those guys over there. The defensive front is really good and always create havoc. But man, Garrett Wilson, right? You got
Hmm.
Alan Lazard, right? So
Right.
Alan as well as Devontae, they played together and when they were in Green Bay together. So chemistry and understanding all these, they just have a lot that they just put. And with Conklin in the middle, uh, you're able to do some really, really good stuff, man. So, man, the Dolphins are really, really going to have to do something at the trade deadline if
Yes.
anything, or even if not, um, everybody's going to need these guys to get healthy coming
Hmm.
into this because it's going to be a real dogfight coming down to this thing toward the end.
I think the Dolphins kind of understood and saw the handwriting on the wall when Aaron Rodgers, second year, knowing Devontae wasn't going to be happy.
Hmm.
I think the cross pick was Odell Beckham
Yeah,
Jr.
yeah,
I when I really look at it, Sam, I think that was their answer. Hey, sit Odell. We knew the fact that Devontae wasn't going to play because he didn't want to be there. We
hmm,
knew Aaron wanted him there. So how do you get out of that? You just don't play games. You play hurt.
right,
With
yeah,
that buy us time, the fact that we knew Odell was 4 to 6 weeks out before he can start giving us something. So that's our third guy. We got the
yeah,
two fastest guys in the league. Now we got a possession guy. We just needed one more guy to be that third, fourth guy, possession guy. We use the tight ends. That's what that John Smith situation was about. So the Dolphins, believe it or not, I think they saw the handwriting on the wall. Now it just has to pan out. But I would think injuries on the defensive side, that deadline is coming up October 29th. You got to go out there and grab a guy. You
yeah.
got to make a
But it's
hate.
hard. It's hard,
Gotta.
Toro.
It's hard. It's hard. You heard Max
Hard.
Crosby names being thrown around by every team, but he's not going anywhere. Uh, we need a guy. You
Yeah.
got to go get a guy. You got to go get a guy that matches the intensity of a Aiden Hutchinson that got hurt, a Max Crosby that is sitting there that you can't we can't afford him, but we have to go find someone similar and make him a Miami Dolphin.
Yeah, make them Miami Dolphins, but Turo, I'm just going to tell you, man, it's going to be really, really, really hard to do that. When you still have Bradley Chubb, you know, and hopefully he's going to be coming back soon. Remember him?
He's
When we talk
yeah, but
about all the other
he
guys,
seemed like my yeah. That's he
yeah,
might be back next year.
yeah, we don't know. We don't know, and that this is the part that us as fans on the outside and not being in NFL organization building and really knowing, the little small and nuances of injuries and when people and what they're looking like, how they're working and these are things that, you know, people want to know leading up to the to this deadline because they're thinking, hey, we can go out and get this guy or this player to be able to help the team. But lo and
No, you
behold,
can't.
1 or 2 weeks away, and then they'll be back. And then now you're gonna have to, whoever that person is, either let one of your younger players go or let that older player who you brought in eventually go to
Right.
open up another roster spot. So, you know, we spent a lot of money on the offensive side, on the
Yep.
offseason, signing Waddle, redoing the Cheetahs contract, signing Tua, bringing in Jonnu Smith.
Hmm. Right.
When you're looking at
Right.
the running back position, very stacked in that position. With Wilson and Raheem, but having A Chain as a young defensive back, and then having the rookie running back because Wright has been stepping in very well, especially over the last game and bringing the tough yards and the tough running game. So just building that team and it's not easy to roll. We know that. But you know, fans want to see winning right now. The
Right.
players want to win right now as well as the coaches. But sometimes things hinder that, and right now that is just injuries for us. On both sides of the ball, defense because we already
Right.
had injuries, but on the offense, those injuries piling up from the beginning of the year. But hey, coming off of a bye, the Dolphins are sitting, right there in a good position, hopefully, and looking at the record of this team, 2-3 right now, but, having an opportunity to come off that bye, guys are fresh. And then just like you talk about through the last game, Odell Beckham was his first game back. Now he'll be on turf. He'll have that good traction. He'll have the opportunity to be able to get in and out of his breaks. But everybody has had a full 10 days to practice together, and now the chemistry could be there for this football team and hopefully be able to put some points on the board and get this offense clicking like we saw over the last couple of years.
I hope so. I'm feeling the same way you feeling, Sam. I'm rooting the same way you root. I'm gonna throw you a curveball. This is
Mm-hmm.
something we can talk about 3 weeks from now, 4 weeks from
Mm-hmm.
now, maybe 7 to 8 weeks from now. Miami Dolphins take a quarterback in the first round,
Mm.
25
Mm.
draft.
Yeah.
You have
Hey,
to.
look,
It's
and when
it's
you're looking around
you
the
have to.
landscape of the NFL, man, having those two quarterbacks is really, really important. Man, I don't care. The only team that I can really sit here and say, there's probably two. The Buffalo Bills. Josh Allen hasn't missed many games over the last couple of years, as well as Pat
Right.
Mahomes. But
Hmm.
any other football team, man, you need to have a very uh, quality quarterback because if your number one goes down, just the parity of the NFL now for that second string quarterback to come in and be able to manage the game, not lose games, and to keep the momentum going of the football team until the starter gets back. And that's the situation that we're in right now. Huntley, he forgot his first win last week. Eventually had his first start up there in Seattle. He had some bumps in the road, but again, had a game where he was able to come back, get a W, right before the bye in New England and handle that business. But now it's on to the next game. How can we keep stacking them? And that's what they have to look at. Coming into the season, is this the year? Everybody was excited to take us to the promised land, but you got 17 games to go through before you get to that promised land. So right now,
17 games.
we just need to
Woo.
focus on one game at a time. And whatever happens, just make sure we winning more than we losing over these next few weeks to even have any conversations about the promised land.
Yeah, you explained it right because we in that fifth, sixth week. This is what typically happens during this time. You got 10, 11 games left.
Yeah,
You got a
yeah.
long season. You got 3 more months.
Hmm.
So there's no panic, but there's a lot of detail, a lot of questions, a lot of answering, a lot of conversation of all the things you just mentioned.
Hmm.
How to place people in position. Do we execute on this tray line? this trade date. What do? A lot of analyzation is going on. You're looking at your roster. You coming out to practice now. You watching that film again. People are redoing reports
Mm-hmm.
because they have to, because it's the first end of this first beginning of the quarter of this first part of the season. Chalk it up. Who's played the best? Who's been who? What happened? No matter what, let's get some good grade. Who graded out? Talk to the coaches. What's the vibe? What's the energy? Because there's a lot of football left. How do we get better? The same we used to say when we played. How do we make our team better? We did it differently. We didn't think about adding a guy. We thought about getting guys healthier. We thought about how can we free up our one-on-ones with Chris Chambers. How can we get our one-on-ones with a Randy McMichael? How can we run the ball better with Ricky? How can we take away deep balls? What do we do? That's how we grew and got better as a defense and as a holistically as a team. We looked at units, special
Yeah.
teams, offense and defense. Now with the luxury of the NFL and the trading and the money and the practice squad and bringing guys in and out, everybody gets to do and become New England, because they used to do that.
Yeah, they didn't do it. They
They
did it.
did that. They started. That's why the league changed the rules, because they were doing it way before, cutting guys on Sunday so they can bring them right back. Cutting them on a Tuesday before the date, so you couldn't even bring them in. So he come
Right.
right back to practice on Thursday. Just all this stuff.
Playing the games, man. Playing the
Playing,
games, and
being the best at what they do.
and playing checkers and not playing chess, not checkers, like they always say,
Right,
right? Having
right.
one move ahead of your opponents, and keeping them off balance and off tilt, so and keeping your cards close to your chest, right? Not really showing
Mhm.
your hands on a lot of things, and New England was one of the best at doing it. So a lot of teams have picked up on those little things and trying to implement it into their system. But hey, they were the Kings for a very long time, and now it looked like the Kansas City Chiefs have torn that page out and stored it into to the back of their playbook. But Terrell, man, we're here at the end of this thing, and before we get ready to wrap this thing up, the Miami Dolphins is heading to Indy. They're taking on the Indianapolis Colts. The Colts are 3-3. Some major injuries. When you talk about, their football team, Jonathan Taylor is definitely going to be out. So, he is one of those players that you have to tip your hat off and always be paying attention. But here's the other kicker, that's coming into this week's game. Anthony Richardson, second year guy out of University of Florida, been playing. It has one of the strongest arms in the NFL, and just been up and down over last year and this year, and just been some injuries that's been holding him back. But in come the old man, Joe Flacco, Terrell, we just talked about having
Hmm.
that second string quarterback that's a
Absolutely.
veteran and a guy that could come in, and they've been calling for him for a while now, but I think he's going to get the go ahead and the nod to start against the Miami Dolphins. And the Dolphins is definitely going to have to be prepared, because Joe Flacco is a guy that if he gets hot, he's definitely one of those quarterbacks that can light a defense up, and he can put the team on his back, and he can carry them very well.
I like Joe Flacco.
Yeah.
Similar two teams, Miami Dolphins, Indianapolis Colts. Split image mirror, same similar situations that have happened with injuries to quarterbacks,
Hmm.
uh, different injuries, but injuries in as a whole, injuries have been two good middle in the pack football programs, football
Hmm.
teams.
Hmm.
Indianapolis is supposed to have a really good year this year
Yeah.
based off
Yeah.
of last year. But the injury bug has hit them too as well. Miami Dolphins is supposed to have an amazing Super Bowl run this year.
Yeah.
Injury bug. So you have an opportunity to play somebody across the field that looks just like you, that's going through the same thing like you. So should be an interesting game. This game is super important. That leads me into giving you my takeaways early, trying to beat you to it,
All right, well,
so I
go
can
ahead,
tell,
man. Well, as we wrap
so
this
I can
thing
just
up,
get,
man, give me your top three
yeah.
takeaways for this game for the
Oh
Miami
man,
Dolphins to
for
win.
offense, for the Miami Dolphins to win this game, offensively, we have to run the ball.
Yep.
Definitely have to run the ball. We have to catch the ball. Put the, no, none of the zigzag, none of the high tempo things that can get people confused. Nobody's right. Let's allow our receivers to run concepts, catch the ball, get upfield. And third thing, no turnovers.
Yeah.
No turnovers. On
Yeah.
defense, obviously it's the same every week for us because you have to play consistent defense week in and week out to earn your stripes in the NFL. No explosives. No explosives. Stop the run, and we got to get the ball back.
There you go.
Turnover
Hey,
time.
listen. Hey, listeners, y'all been listening to us the last couple of weeks, and y'all already know I say three things, and Turo always come up with six. So that's just how he does, So and I
Offense and
always let him go.
defense.
I told him three.
For real. I
Hey,
did say six.
listen, man, he
My
got like
bad.
six of them, man. I was like, okay, it's all good, man.
And I had to go first. So you're going to steal mine.
Well, it's all good, man. I'm gonna let you go ahead, man, and keep doing you, man, because I be taking up a lot of time talking about some other stuff. But man, my top three, man, for this football game for the Dolphins to win and come victorious versus the Indianapolis Colts is keep Joe Flacco in check, man. Keep him. We can't allow him to stay on time. If he's on time and he's standing flat footed and then having the opportunity to just flick that ball, man, he is very dangerous. And we've seen him in the playoffs. We've seen him in the regular season, and we know what Joe Flacco can do. So making sure that we keep not allowing him to be a rhythm passer. My second one is disciplined football. Man, too many penalties to roll in this first quarter of the season, and especially dumb penalties, illegal
Mm,
procedure,
mm,
not lining up correctly on special teams,
mm.
holding on special teams, all of those disciplined football, man. We have to get to that part of our game if we want to be able to move forward in the second quarter of our season and really put us in position to be able to move forward and win more games. And my third one is get a win on the road. Like, yeah, we did it
Mm.
in New England, but yeah, we were supposed to get that. But
Right.
now winning another game on the road, Turo, in a dome, you don't have to worry about the weather. Yeah, it could be a little bit chilly, but you're in a dome, man. So
Right.
being prepared, making plays, being tough, because these teams they were in the AFC East for a while, so together
Right.
for a long time, but uh, went on to the NFC South, and the Dolphins stayed in the East. Man, get a win on the road, and those
Right.
are my top three, especially when there's not going to be any weather issues. But yeah, man. I'm Sam Madison, Turo on the other side of the gate. Turo, you got anything before we get ready to go?
That was like 8-2, but I'm gonna leave it alone. Um, I mean, next week.
Next week, man. Hey, man, I'm Sam Madison.
I'm Arturo Freeman.
Hey, man, this is 2-9 report. Thank y'all for joining us, man. We out, man. We'll see y'all on the other side. Peace.
Oh yeah.